In the last video, I talked about limiting beliefs and stories, one of the self-created barriers that does not support a winning approach with your children. And where are limiting beliefs and stories created? Inside your mind. The thing is, if you do not separate yourself from your mind, you'll be the follower instead of the leader of both your decisions and behaviors. And if that happens, my friend, you're losing a great opportunity to evolve by being a parent or a teacher and having children around you. For heaven's sake, just open your heart and soul and don't give your mind too much leash. We need to recognize the mind's patterns to be able to keep what is serving us and our children and change what is not. So let's jump to another mind barrier that can stuck you and your relationship. Exaggerated fear. As you know, fear is a natural response to protect us. It's a mechanism that operates above all unconsciously. Up to now, we're good, but not excellent. 1. Fear saves us from danger. Great. 2. Fear response is mostly unconscious, meaning we are not in control, which sometimes is not so cool. Want to know why? Because the brain is triggered by what is real, and this is critical, is also triggered by what the mind is predicting. Dr. David Hamilton did a scientific research that proved this, where volunteers who had imagined playing a sequence of piano notes had the same changes in the brain as those who actually played it. From this amazing study came the conclusion: the brain does not distinguish imaginary from real. In fact, and I challenge you to pay close attention, you will notice you behave according to what you are used to, recreating the past, or you react to what you believe will happen in the future. The relationship with your children goes through the same process. Sometimes we, as parents and teachers, do exactly what we were taught. Others, we let fear take control. And even if children are not doing anything special, we invariably imagine the worst case scenario and bang! To be honest, it seems we are always frightened and stressed for no apparent reason, at least directly related to children. And fear activates a lot of stress in the body. The other day in the supermarket, I was the one being stressed about her mother, who kept screaming with her little son, "Don't touch this! Don't do that!" She was upfront and left the son behind. And then each time she looked back, "Don't touch this! Don't do that!" Oh, wasn't it more assertive to just stop for a while and have a talk? And you know what? The kid was not messing up. He was actually being careful with the groceries. It was obvious to me that this mother was stressed already for other reasons other than her child and was not managing her emotions. Children are curious. Thank God. We can guide them to be cautious, but then we must let life flow. We can't and should not control everything. Authentic learning comes from exploring and facing up the consequences. I'm not saying to let your children do whatever they feel like without setting some rules and boundaries, But if you do your part, they will do the rest, and life too. Trust your children and provide them the more experiences you can to help them grow in a balanced and healthy way, building connections in the brain, logic, critical thinking, and another important skills they need to succeed. Also, children grow fast, so we better get used to give them some freedom. Remember, the mind spends about 70% of its energy on survival mode, trying to predict what comes next. But generally, ends up being caught up in a kind of negative spiral that narrows down all the possibilities. What happens in this scenario does not serve you or your children. In the case I've mentioned before about the mother screaming with her son in the supermarket because she was afraid she might do something wrong or inappropriate, if only she would have stopped for a while to observe her boy, she would have seen that he was behaving well. I even dare to say better than she was. Or if she took the time to be there side by side, explaining things, she would have spared all the shouts she gave, discouraging the child. Instead, she would have recognized his efforts and praised him for what he was doing right. Then I had a aha moment. Wait, what I'm seeing in his mother is what sometimes happens to me and all of us. The reality is, and this is something I want you to stick with. 1. When fear and stress are not managed, we end up doing what is not good for us and our children. 2. Even when a child messes up, there is always something we can get advantage of as an insight, a lesson, or something that was well done or led to something unexpected that was actually good or not so bad. There is always something you can take from the experience to make some progress. For that, you just need to stop, observe. Don't let your fear and stress take over completely. Manage your thoughts and your emotions and be open to embrace the moment. Share with me some of your recurrent fearful and stressful situations you face with your children and how you handle them or not. To your success, Isa.